Know about it. Talk about it. News Talk KVNU 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
KVNU News Time is 5:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by U&I Furniture. News Talk KVNU has scheduled a moderated forum for candidates in Logan's upcoming municipal election. The Meet the Candidates event will be held in the Logan City Council chambers from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. this Wednesday evening. The Q&A will be open to the public at that location. The forum will also be broadcast live on KVNU. Candidates for 2 at-large seats on the Logan City Council will introduce themselves and face questions from 5 to 6 p.m. They are incumbents Amy Anderson and Ernesto Lopez, plus challenger Keegan Garrity. The city's mayoral candidates will be in the spotlight from 6 to 7 p.m. Incumbent Mayor Holly Daines and challenger Dee Jones. During a previous Meet the Candidates event hosted by the Bridgerland Audubon Society, questions to the candidates were largely confined to issues related to the environment. During the upcoming event, however, council candidates Anderson and Lopez will likely be obliged to publicly discuss the question of voter district representation on the Logan City Council. Garrity has made that question a central issue in the city council race by condemning the council's at-large representation for stifling political competition. The mayoral candidates forum will likely focus on differing visions for the revitalization of downtown Logan. KVNU News Time is 5:06. KVNU weather for tonight, partly cloudy skies, overnight low in the upper 40s, and then mostly sunny and warm tomorrow, close to 80 degrees for the high. A chance of showers and thunderstorms Tuesday night, then showers likely and possibly a thunderstorm after midnight, low around 50. Showers likely on Wednesday and possibly a thunderstorm as well, upper 60s for the high. It is 75 right now at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. Bring back the sounds you've been missing. Schedule a free hearing evaluation with Dr. Paul Daines at Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology.
Want to improve the look and comfort of your home? See all the possibilities at U&I Furniture. Update your mattress and sleep better tonight on a Therapeutic Queen Comfort Top mattress for $4.99. U&I is also a full-line Maloof dealer. Add a Maloof adjustable base, 4 style choices there. In U&I's dining room section, lots of different brands with something always new to see. One popular set with a table and 4 chairs, $6.49. And for the family or living room, all kinds of fun new sofa loves and sectionals. If it's in stock or it's in the showroom, it's ready to take home. There's always a better buy at U&I Furniture downtown Logan.
KVNU News Time is 5:08. A new irrigation study is underway at the Southern Utah University Farm in Cedar City to determine how much water is needed to optimally grow crops. Utah State University Assistant Professor of Agriculture Matt Yost explains early findings in the study.
What we know so far is that we can reduce our irrigation rates if we use more efficient, more innovative sprinkler technology. And there's a few of them on the market right now that are working quite well. We can cut back about 20% on our irrigation rates and still maintain our crop production.
He was asked about cost of these sprinkler systems.
It's about twice the cost of a normal system that farmers put on their center pivots, and so it is an additional cost. But there are farmers in the state who've seen the advantages, the benefits, and they've invested in them. One example is a large farm down in Iron County where they have converted just about 80 center pivots to these new technologies.
Dr. Yost said another approach, working with drought-tolerant genetics, specifically a corn hybrid, which is supposed to be good at handling water stress, has not performed well. The research project is being conducted by Utah State University graduate students and faculty at the Southern Utah University Farm in Cedar City. And Idaho Governor Brad Little says he will tour the U.S.-Mexico border on Wednesday with 9 other Republican governors. Little's office on Monday announced that he plans to take a boat tour of the Rio Grande River with the Texas Department of Public Safety. Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Arizona Governor Doug Ducey are also taking part. Little last month, along with 25 other governors, requested an in-person meeting with President Biden concerning border issues. Little says Idaho is experiencing a surge in drug overdoses due to meth and fentanyl coming into Idaho from Mexico. KVNU News Time is 5:10. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
You've hemmed and hawed all summer about your overgrown trees. Call Whole Tree Care. After all, trimmed trees are healthier and safer. And with winter around the corner, now is the time to do something about it. Whole Tree Care has the best experience to trim trees right, and their cleanup crew is second to none. Don't risk damage that can be caused by heavy snow this winter. Call Whole Tree Care and ask about their radio discount, 760-6587. Whole Tree Care, 760-6587.
Hi, kids. Today, we're going to learn the difference between dirty and clean. See this car? It's dirty. Now, watch as it goes through Green Gorilla Car Wash. Now the car is clean. To recap, first the car was dirty. Now it's clean. Dirty, clean. You get it? And for only $14.99, get monthly unlimited washes good for any of their washes, including the $18 Jungle Wash with ceramic coating.
No one thinks their vehicle's dirty until they see what clean looks like. Green Gorilla Car Wash in Logan, and now their new location in Smithfield.
Hey everybody, coming up on the Tuesday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, the border mess continues. A surge of tens of thousands expected all at once, and perhaps a few 100,000 for the month of October. What does Congressman Andy Biggs say about it? He'll tell us. Plus, Clay, what do you got?
What's the latest on the budget battle that is right now consuming all of Washington and the COVID insanity? Will it ever end? Probably not, but we'll break it all down for you. It'll be the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show.
10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM at 610 AM.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear. Because for years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Continuing on with what is ended up being a packed show today because there's a lot going on this week with our very next guest. I caught wind of this just earlier today via email from our friends at the Utah League of Cities and Towns, and they are embarking alongside the Utah Commission on Criminal and Juvenile Justice on a listening tour. As I did my best to do in hour one to set this up. Short version of this, several years ago, Utah legislature passes a package of bills called the Justice Reinvestment Initiative. The goal of this is to reduce prison populations and recidivism without increasing crime here in Utah. It is a great idea with a great goal, and it's been a source of controversy since then. The legislature will soon be taking this issue back up and looking at tweaks and reforms and also taking things a bit further than they did in their initial step. They're doing so with the hope of the public getting engaged in this process. And so to encourage that, this listening tour begins, and it begins here in Cache Valley, kicking off this Thursday at the Hiram City Civic Center. The 2021 Justice Reinvestment Initiative listening tour begins. Joining us right now to discuss this, the goal of the listening tour, and more, Director of Public Affairs at the Utah Department of Public Safety, Mr. Joe Dougherty. And Joe, appreciate taking some time for KVNU today, especially on short notice. You and I were actually texting during hour one to get this to happen, and we really appreciate that. But also I like listeners knowing how responsible our public employees and even elected officials are here in Utah to getting word out on this. This is a pretty big deal, right?
Yeah, and it's really great to talk to you. It's been a little while, and so thanks for the opportunity to come and talk about this.
Oh, our pleasure.
Yeah, the Justice Reinvestment Initiative, I loved your setup. I think you described it perfectly, that, justice is one of those things that some people could probably consider that, we've got a justice system in place, and it's working. And I would say for the most part, it probably is. But that there are certain areas of the justice system that just need to be looked at again and again and again. And it's different parts of it as our society changes and evolves. And it's important for your government, the people you're paying your tax dollars go to the government to run a justice system that involves courts, it involves law enforcement, it involves human services, all of these things. It's important for the government to come and talk to the people. And so that's why we're doing this listening tour around the state. And like you mentioned, we're starting in Hiram, October 7th, from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Hiram Civic Center.
And this is a weighty topic for a listening tour. This is, as I told listeners in hour one, even if you don't care about the humanitarian side of this, rising prison populations, even if you don't care about, even if you're someone who says to yourself, well, I'm never going to have a run-in with the law, so what do I care? At very least, everyone can care how much money this costs the state, but there are also societal costs when it comes to recidivism. In fact, mounting evidence showing that prisons, for example, can be great incubators of more, how should we say, clever crime. So all of us are affected by that type of thing. But what we do about it, it's a pretty complex question. And the set of bills passed by the legislature, Joe, reflect that, right? I mean, this was a tiny bite of the apple, but it was, I don't even remember how many pages, but it was years of debate to get it to get even the ball rolling on this. But it was a proud moment, right?
Oh, yeah. And like you said, the whole justice community looks at this issue and says, listen, how can we be better? How can we do right by the people? And when you think about justice, sometimes people think about just the criminal element of that, and like, is justice served to the criminal? Like, are they getting the punishment they need? But at the same time, it's like, how are we working to make things right for the victims of crime? And how are we doing the best possible job to help people, not succumb to a life of crime? Because are there things that we can and should be doing? Is locking someone up the answer? Is that the only answer? And the easy answer a lot of people just default to is yeah, lock people up. Well, there are real costs to that. Like, how many prisons do we need to build to lock everybody up? And are there things that might work better to move people out of that particular system? And so, listen, right at this point with this listening tour that we're doing, everything's going to be on the table. And that's why our leaders, and these are like the top government leaders in these different departments. I'll give you an example. The Department of Corrections, the Department of Public Safety, the Department of Human Services, Utah State Courts, which is a separate branch of government, but they know they have an important role in this as well. The Department of Human Services, the Board of Pardons and Parole, and the Commission on Criminal and Juvenile Justice. So we have all of these people who have the ability to affect change, who have the ability to have really intimate, serious conversations with state legislators, who are the ones who will make those legal determinations of how are we going to run our justice system. And then that gets turned over to the executive branch to put all of this in place. And so that's why our leaders have said, we are open to hear you. They expect to hear from, stakeholder groups that represent, underserved populations. They expect to hear from the general public. And there will be multiple ways of participating in these listening sessions. For example, people can show up in person. But then we're also going to make a Zoom virtual option available as well for people who won't be able to attend in person.
That's amazing. And to try and engage on, like say, such a complex topic is just a noteworthy effort. We really appreciate being able to spotlight this. And listeners, we hope you'll appreciate it by being a part of it. You might think to yourself, I'm no expert on criminal justice. I'm no expert on the legal or criminal system, but you, I guarantee, have a story or an experience through your family or a neighbor or a friend in which you have a unique perspective to offer. And that's what's going to make this better. And Joe, I know no timeline has been announced or set by legislative leadership, but if I understand correctly, they're planning to take this issue up somewhat in the next legislative session. At least that's the rumor, right?
Yeah, so justice reform is always going to be a source of debate on Capitol Hill. It always has been, it always will be, because it's one of those things that really affects society. Because if you think about what crime is, right? Crime is betraying the trust that we have in one another. And when a person does that, and we have laws to prevent and punish and all those things, that it's always going to be a debate when someone is betraying that trust and what to do with them, when they're breaking these societal rules that we have. So, there were really significant justice reform bills that were passed this past year, things that are helping law enforcement be more accountable for how they carry out their duties, all sorts of data that's going to be tracked moving forward. Even after the incident in Minnesota, we banned chokeholds by our police officers in the state. That's something the legislature put in place. So there's always some sort of reform that's going on. And sometimes it's on the operational side of that, and sometimes it's on the legal side. And so that's what we are here to hear, whatever opinions that people do have on this. And we know that people have their lived experiences that, we can't argue with those experiences that you've had. And we just want to make sure that we are hearing out as many people as we can. So like I mentioned, Hiram is the first one. Our team will be out in Vernal later the same week. We'll do one in Provo, Salt Lake, Moab. So we're just getting around the state so we can hear all those diverse opinions and thoughts about how the state could be a little bit better.
This is also this event in Hiram, again for listeners, this Thursday, 1 to 4 p.m. at the Hiram Civic Center, a Justice Reinvestment Initiative listening tour co-hosted and organized by the Utah League of Cities and Towns and the Utah Commission on Criminal and Juvenile Justice. An opportunity for people as well to hear from experts, right? You've got a bit of a panel of experts that will travel as part of this listening tour to set the stage before the audience back and forth.
Well, so the unique thing about this is we are just planning to listen here.
Oh, wow.
And so it's an opportunity for people to just share the opinions that they have about our justice system.
It's very cool.
And yeah, it's a unique opportunity. And so we do ask for people to be respectful. These are people who are giving their time to travel the state to make sure they're hearing. So we do beg for respect because they are being respectful as well. And it's a chance for us to hear you out.
That is amazing. This is a very rare opportunity and one that I hope everyone takes advantage of. Again, if you have the time, you might not think this touches your life, touches anything that you might have expertise on. I guarantee everyone listening has a story, an experience, something in which you could lend a unique perspective, and that's the whole point of a listening tour. The listening tour kicks off again this Thursday, 1 to 4 p.m. at the Hiram Civic Center there on Main Street in Hiram, and it is a listening tour on criminal justice reform, or as we call it here, the technical name here in Utah, the Justice Reinvestment Initiative, JRI, which was passed several years ago. Lawmakers looking at tweaking this, changing it, making some additional steps in the direction of reforming criminal justice system in these ways, and they want to hear from you. Our guest again has been a person, Joe. We should mention this. You, when it comes to public safety, this has been your life, right? Starting out as a reporter, covering public safety issues, and now the state's director of public affairs in the Utah Department of Public Safety. This is an arena very familiar to you, right?
It is. So I've covered public safety issues, like you mentioned, since the beginning of my career in journalism. And so I got to see this from the outside, and then I spent the last 10 years working on emergency management issues, which had to do with a lot of public safety and emergency preparedness And now in the last year, I'm really diving into the even more on the law enforcement and legal side, and just even learning more now. So it's another chance to serve. It's been interesting to move from the private sector into government, and just to see how much good is being done and how many good people are really working for the state of Utah. It's very easy to feel skeptical about, hey, what is government doing? Because on the national stage, there's so much rancor about government and how it's operating. But people should know there's a lot of really good people who have their hearts in the right place and really want to make the state better. And it's been, for me personally, gratifying to see that since I jumped over to the government side.
Well, and definitely evidenced in this listening tour. This is not something, not just the listening tour, but also the initiative itself is not something happening in every state. So listeners, take advantage. They want to hear from you. They want your experiences, your perspectives on criminal justice, and they're inviting you out to this listening tour that kicks off here in Cache Valley this Thursday, 1 to 4 p.m., at the Hiram Civic Center, a chance for you to offer your unique perspective as state leaders tackle this important issue of criminal justice reform, and some tweaks and changes may be coming to the Justice Reinvestment Initiative. Our guest again has been Director of Public Affairs at the Utah Department of Public Safety, Mr. Joe Dougherty. And Joe, appreciate taking some time for KVNU today, and can't wait to have an excuse to speak to you again soon.
Man, call anytime. We love Cache Valley. Go Aggies.
Oh, always.
I'm a big fan, having spent some significant years in Logan.
That's we call it the slow takeover of state government, the slow Aggie takeover of state government. Just sneaking everybody in.
We're doing well.
That's right. Governor's office next. We're working on that one.
Yeah, exactly. Got it.
Thanks again, Joe, for your time, and thanks to everyone involved in planning this event.
Yeah, thanks, my friend. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you. For listeners, again, that is this Thursday, 1 to 4 p.m. at the Hiram Civic Center, a Justice Reinvestment Initiative listening tour co-organized by the Utah League of Cities and Towns and the Utah Commission on Criminal and Juvenile Justice. And I've linked to the event page on our Facebook page if you'd like to find it there later. We'll be back with more of For the People right after this.
NMLS 1817019.
Want the lowest mortgage rate? Don't go to a bank or credit union. LendRight Mortgage's rates are often at least 0.25% lower than other lenders. Listen to these Google reviews from very happy clients. Mary, I did my due diligence and compared 3 other companies, and none of them could compete with the rates offered by LendRight Mortgage. David, LendRight had the best rate we could find, and we shopped pretty heavily. Megan, they got me a great interest rate, much lower than competitors. Landon, from start to finish, they were great. Other companies couldn't touch their rates. Ron, on top of the superior service, I also got a 1.75% rate. Wow. This is why we confidently offer a $1,000 lowest rate guarantee. Rates in the ones will soon be gone. Call 801-APPROVE or visit lendrightmortgage.com.
Bring back what you've been missing. Bring back Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology.
Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology is Cache Valley's most trusted name in hearing aid technology. Schedule a free consultation with Dr. Paul Daines by calling 753-HEAR or visit cachehearing.com.
Bring back what you've been missing. Bring back Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology.
New federal guidelines have nearly doubled the number of Americans eligible for lung cancer screening. Insurance companies are required to cover these tests for those ages 50 to 80 who currently smoke or used to smoke. Along with new treatments, lung cancer screening saves lives. If you are 50 to 80 years old and smoke or used to smoke, talk to your doctor about lung cancer screening. For more information and to find a screening center near you, visit the National Lung Cancer Roundtable at nlcrt.org.
This is Police Chief Gary Jensen from Logan City Police Department. A number of scams are occurring throughout our city and county. These scams are highly emotional and demand immediacy that you pay, and you pay now. They will say they are from the IRS, the Sheriff's Office, the Police Department, utility companies, medical facilities, or even romance scams. The scammers do their homework. They can do a simple check on the internet of your name and find out where you live, where you used to live, even people that are associated with your name. They are always highly emotional phone calls that demand immediate payment or something bad will happen. Slow down and diffuse by asking questions. If they want you to pay with Bitcoin or gift cards, this is a scam. Be careful. Hang up the phone call is the best thing that you can do. Again, slow down and think. React by hanging up, and don't become a victim.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. A brief personal interlude. Not really. I don't talk about my personal life a lot because I don't really do anything that interesting, but I had a chance to get out and get in. It's either going to be the second to last camping trip or last camping trip of the 2021 camping season. We'll see how that pans out.
I think it all depends on the weather, right?
Yeah, weather next week kind of makes it look like time to put everything away and call it a year.
Well, actually, later, starting Tuesday night, chance of showers.
Yeah, the showers I don't mind. I mean, the temperatures are what will drive
temperatures
drive me away. And early next week, some of those 20-degree overnights, that's not my thing.
Our tomatoes are toast.
Yeah, it's the growing season coming to an end early next week, one way or another. But it's beautiful out there. I mean, I know a drought isn't something we should celebrate, but silver linings and all of that. And there's actually, I'm not going to get into this because I'm not an expert, and I'll probably completely slaughter trying to explain the experts on this. But short version, dry years have a tendency to produce a certain type of fall turn in foliage that can be, like I say, never want to celebrate a drought, especially if this is just year one of two, because we managed to avoid a lot of water restrictions this year. We will not, if snowpack is as low this winter as it was last. We're all going to be dealing with water restrictions next year. I mean more than just try not to water more than twice a week, which we all got through just fine this year. And silver linings, just beautiful colors out there. Logan Canyon, I don't remember in my life. I've probably been through Logan Canyon in the fall as leaves are turning every year, if not every year, close to every year. I've rarely made a trip just to see that, but I've always had a reason. I've got some work sometimes in that area that gets me through the canyon. I've always seen it, and I really don't remember a year this vibrant. The reds and the oranges and the yellows this year in Logan Canyon are absolutely amazing. But those leaves are coming down quick. So if you want to see this, get out soon. Probably no later than the weekend. Well, we'll see what happens with the storms. That might blow a lot off the branches and might not, but hopefully those leaves hang on because man.
Next week at this time it's supposed to be 58, and then next Tuesday it's supposed to be 47 for the high.
Yeah,
and 40, 47, 48 the next couple of days after that. So
yeah,
this might be the last nice couple of days.
Decent couple, yeah. But man, is it beautiful. Starting Canyon, beautiful. Blacksmith Fork, it doesn't get a mention when it comes to fall leaves because it's actually, there is actually a lot of...
it was beautiful up
there.
Yeah.
The reason it doesn't get a lot of mention is that Blacksmith Fork, for some reason, you get into that evergreen area faster.
Yeah.
So you get, it's only the first maybe half of the canyon where you can really see a lot of foliage from the main road. If you get up left hand or some of those other areas, you can see, just beautiful colors. But even Sardine Canyon, the south.
That's what I was talking about. Sardine. We went through there on Saturday. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, Sardine's just amazing to see this year. It's always pretty, but this is just this is over the top. And the south end of the valley, even out around the south edge of Hiram Dam, just some beautiful colors out there. If you've never done it, and your time's pretty limited on this as well. In fact, you might not want to attempt this one, depending on how much moisture we get. It can be a pretty muddy, nasty mess. But the drive from Paradise Avon through into Liberty, into the Ogden Valley, or not Ogden Valley, Eden Valley, they call it. That drive, it's not. I mean, it's passable by passenger car. I wouldn't recommend it. I've seen people do it.
I wouldn't drive a Camry up there.
Yeah, I've seen people do it. I would not do it myself. That's a long walk if you throw a tire. But yeah, trucks, things like that. You don't need anything super major to get through there. It can be a little slick, and that downhill side on the Eden Valley side is pretty steep with a lot of zigzag corners. So it's, use caution, maybe go before the rains, but that is beautiful every fall. This year, honestly, some of the photos I've seen, I haven't made it over there myself yet. I'm hoping to soon. But some of the photos I've seen, get out and appreciate the leaves is what I'm getting at. They seem to be a bit brighter this year. And again, there is some science behind this, actually. Droughts do change the way this fall turn happens. It, of course, shortens the time as well. So you have a smaller window of colorful leaves. They fall faster when they're this dry. But, man, the colors are just chef's kiss.
Yeah, it seems like in years past, if we had a dry August and a very hot August, and a generally dry summer before that,
to change it.
The leaves just kind of wilt.
Yeah,
they go from green to brown and then just kind of wilt away.
They're gone fast. Yeah, these leaves will be gone fast, but man, the colors this year just amazing to see. So go appreciate that before probably Wednesday, I would say. We might get a window where you can afterwards, but no guarantees this year.
This evening and tomorrow are the optimal
you don't want to
times.
Make the time. All right. Coming up on the other side, we're going to try this again. Last week we had scheduled time to speak with Teena Horlacher about this upcoming conference called the WeCanAct conference at the Salt Palace at the end of the month. There was some confusion. We've rescheduled it, and she is joining us after these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 5:37. The news is brought to you by the Duck Hunter. A 19-year-old Logan man has been spared prison after a judge agreed with the defendant's attorney, who said prison was the wrong type of punishment. Jackson Harrop was ordered instead to serve 250 days in jail, along with other restrictions. Harrop was sentenced during a virtual hearing in First District Court this afternoon. He previously pleaded guilty to 10 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor, a second-degree felony. In November 2020, Logan City police officers received a cyber tip that Harrop was exchanging child pornography through a social media app. The tip, forwarded from the Utah Attorney General's office, included multiple pictures and videos of kids ranging from newborns to 13 years old. The social media account was accessed at several Cache County locations. The IP addresses were tracked to Harrop's home in Logan, along with a home in Smithfield where a friend of Harrop lived. In January of this year, officers served a warrant to Harrop after conducting surveillance on his Logan residence for several days. They seized a cell phone, game consoles, and memory storage devices, and a forensic download later found 20 images and videos of child pornography. And a 22-year-old former Utah State football player charged with raping a female student 3 years ago is continuing to fight the case against him. Jamal Evans again asked for his case to go to trial after Previous trial dates were postponed. Evans participated in a virtual hearing in First District Court this morning. He was previously charged with rape and forcible sodomy, both first-degree felonies. Evans was arrested after a female USU student reported being raped to school officials. On June 17, 2018, the alleged victim and one of her friends picked up the defendant. They went to a small party at a residence in Logan. She stated she knew who he was, but had never really hung out with him. The woman told investigators while at the party they consumed some alcohol. Afterwards, Evans raped her, although she cannot remember what specifically happened. In August 2018, Judge Brian Cannell ruled during a preliminary hearing that even though the victim was not able to recall the night of the assault, she could not have been able to consent to sex, and he bound the defendant over on both charges. KVNU News Time is 5:40.
Did you know a block dryer vent is a real fire hazard? According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, there are tens of thousands of dryer exhaust duct fires annually, leading to many injuries and death. You should have your dryer hose and the area around it cleaned once a year, and inspect the vent and hose for any blockages at least every 6 months. Don't wait for disaster to strike because your dryer vent is blocked. Give John Henson a call at the Duct Hunter. Call 770-4813 today.
Breathe better, save money, protect your home. We are the Duct Hunter.
KVNU weather tonight, partly cloudy skies, overnight low in the upper 40s, and then sunny tomorrow and high around 80, and then chance of showers and thunderstorms start to roll into the picture Tuesday night, and showers likely pretty much every day this week and on into the weekend. After reaching 79, it's 75 right now at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Wheatland Seed. They offer real food for storage like wheat, rice, beans, and sugar, all carefully packed in stackable buckets with resealable Mylar liners, providing up to 25-year shelf life. Visit wheatlandseed.com. That's wheatlandseed.com. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
Dr. Josh Red, chiropractic physician, explains how Red River Health and Wellness can help you.
If you have low thyroid and you're taking thyroid medication, the biggest question you should ask yourself is what's causing my low thyroid specifically? If you don't know the answer to that question, it's important to call us. At Red River, we identify triggers that will cause the low thyroid to begin with. One of the most common causes of low thyroid is a disease called Hashimoto's disease. This is an autoimmune disease that is a lot more complicated than just a primary thyroid issue. This is why people will be on thyroid hormone but still feel little to no improvement because nothing's being done to address the bigger, more complicated problem, which is Hashimoto's. If you have low thyroid or you have an autoimmune disease and you're on medication and still don't feel well, call Red River.
Schedule your appointment today at 855-55-RIVER. Red River Health and Wellness with offices in Logan, South Jordan, Springville, and St. George.
Call Red River today.
Hi, this is Brent Wallace with Cache Valley Bank. We love supporting local events like the Cache Valley Parade of Homes happening September 30th through October 9th. As you tour these beautiful homes, we invite you to visit our recently renovated Cache Valley Bank branches. Show your parade ticket and receive a complimentary sampler box of Bluebird chocolates. Visit one of our 7 locations from Smithfield to Hiram, including our mortgage office. Stop by during the Parade of Homes, meet our staff, and pick up your free chocolates. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse?
Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam! Ran right into the side of the saloon.
Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. It has been a packed show today. It's been fun, though. We've covered a lot of ground. If you're just tuning in and you've missed the fun so far, well, good news, we've got more fun planned for you here on the show. Other good news, you can now always listen via the podcast. You can listen directly in the on-demand section at kvnutalk.com, or you can subscribe to the podcast through the podcasting service with whichever podcast app you choose, and never miss an episode. Thanks again to all of our guests. We're going to round out the show today with a third and final guest for today's show. Joining us right now to talk about an upcoming conference that is happening October 22nd and 23rd at the Salt Palace Convention Center with some big-name speakers in conservative media circles that many of our listeners have probably at least heard reference to. They'll be here in Utah as part of this conference that is open to anyone who registers. Joining us right now to talk about the WeCanAct conference, Teena Horlacher. And Teena, appreciate taking some time for KVNU today. Tell us about how this conference came to be.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to share with you.
Oh, I appreciate you taking the time.
Yes, thank you. So the event really came to be after experiencing a year of COVID and shutdowns and then seeing an election that was very clearly fraudulent and seeing that there really were no answers and there's no person who's going to come in and save the day. It really comes down to we the people. And so really to combat the false narrative and manipulation, frankly, the false media, the fake media, and big tech censorship that is shutting down every opinion or thing they don't agree with, which that should raise huge red flags to everyone. We decided to put together this conference, and we absolutely have a phenomenal list of speakers. And the name of this conference is the WeCanAct Liberty Conference, because this is all about taking back your liberty. A lot of people have said that the new normal is masking and, taking an immunization or a vaccine that we're not quite sure what's in it and buckling down for the ride. And I really don't believe that is the new normal. I feel like the new normal is eternal vigilance in pursuit of liberty. Because if we don't step up and do something different than what we are currently experiencing, we have no reason to assume that anything will get any better. So I brought together a list of speakers of people who really are out on the front lines and working hard in the health industry, in the media industry, big tech industry, and who are really going to bring real information, and they're going to give people a toolbox of action items. That's why we're called WeCanAct, because we believe that we must act to change things. And as we individually make choices that will hold people accountable and combat the lies, that there will be change, and we will be better equipped to make good choices.
Can you tell us, Teena, about some of the speakers? Again, a lot of these names will be familiar to those in certain conservative circles. These have become, is celebrities a fair word? Well-known. They've become well-known figures.
I would say some of them have. I mean, they're certainly well known in certain circles, but to the general public, I really don't feel they are very as well known as they should be. But first we have America's General, which is General Mike Flynn. He will be there, and he will just have a phenomenal message that will tell people that we have to take back our liberty at the local level. We need to stop looking at Congress, and we need to bring it back to the local level. We have Senator Sonny Borelli, Senator Wendy Rogers from Arizona, who's been taking place in the forensic audit. They're going to talk about what we need to do to protect our election system, and also what really went on in Arizona and what the media, again, does not want you to know. And they will blow your mind with the stories that went on there. We have a number of other people who also will be talking about election fraud, namely Douglas G. Franks, Seth Keshel, and some others. We have people who will be talking about human trafficking. Jason Cisneros, he's heavily involved in the human trafficking world, as well as I just gained a new speaker yesterday. His name is Mike Miller, and he is a rancher that lives 40 miles off the border of Mexico and sees just horrific things happening on the border. And he has decided to defend the border because he says no one else is willing to. And he says people are needlessly being killed, and we need to be aware of what is going on in our border, like big time. We need to know that people are actually crossing the border and being bussed. Military-age men are coming across the border, and they're being bussed to different cities across the nation and just let out of their buses. We have frontline doctors, Dr. Simone Gold, Dr. Peter McCullough, Dr. Lee Merritt. And we also have the number 3 doctor that is sought after in the world, which is Rashid Buttar, Dr. Rashid Buttar. We have Dr. David Martin, who did the docu-miniseries Plandemic and Indoctrination. We just have a lineup of speakers like one you cannot imagine, and they are going to deliver in a very serious way, and people are going to come away empowered with information that will help them to know what they need to do to protect their families, to protect their children, to protect their communities, and to prepare for what is in the future, because we do need to be prepared for what is coming.
The conference again happens in Salt Lake City this October 22nd and 23rd at the Salt Palace Convention Center. You all know where it is, downtown Salt Lake. But the address, 100 Southwest Temple in Salt Lake. Tickets are on sale now via the website WeCanAct.net. I've also linked to that on our Facebook page if you're driving now and would like to find it later. And
so I do need to tell your listeners about a promo code that we have right now.
Oh, okay, for registration?
Yes, if they type in the promo code Liberty, which is all caps, they will get $50 off of their ticket. And their ticket does not only include 2 days of fabulous speakers, it includes a box lunch for each day, and it includes a 4-day free handgun course from Front Sight Training Institute. I go down there a couple of times every year. It's very enjoyable. They teach you how to handle a handgun, and it's a fun family atmosphere. So the ticket is very valuable and also very inexpensive. So the promo code again is all caps Liberty, and you will get $50 off of your ticket.
Is that for the general admission and VIP, that discount? Because there's two here, right? There's a general admission and then there's a VIP ticket. Okay.
Yeah, it is for the general admission. And I want to say that we need to stop just Zooming. We need to show up in person. There's energy, there's momentum, there's synergy, there's a message that comes with all of us coming together. We get a chance to network, we get a chance to inform ourselves, and we get a chance to send a very clear message to those who are in elected positions that we are awake, and we are going to stand up, and we're not going to continue to let the status quo happen. So this is a very powerful event. People need to understand that the vaccine is not safe and effective. They need to understand that there are a lot of people who are having serious side effects. They need to understand that COVID is not a threat to them, and we need to change things up big time.
Teena, I appreciate you taking some time to share your perspective on this and to tell us about the conference. For listeners, that website again, WeCanAct.net. As Teena has told us, a discount code is available, all caps, the word Liberty, as you register at WeCanAct.net. Get $50 off the price of admission to the WeCanAct conference, the Liberty Conference, happening again October 22nd and 23rd from noon to 8 p.m. each day at the Salt Palace Convention Center in downtown Salt Lake. Each day, registration and exhibit hall open at 8, and then the conference itself beginning at noon each day. Again, October 22nd and 23rd. Our guest, again, has been Teena Horlacher. And Teena, appreciate taking some time for KVNU today. And sorry it took us so long to get to this. Between you and I, we kept having scheduling conflicts, but we finally got it in.
Yes, I really appreciate the opportunity. But I do want to add that this is not just my opinion. This is the opinion of professionals, people in the medical community who are being censored. So we need people to show up so they can get the truth.
Teena, again, I appreciate you taking the time with us today. And one more time for listeners, if you're interested, check it out at WeCanAct.net. I've linked to that on our Facebook page as well. Again, if you're driving and would like to find it later, WeCanAct.net, the website for the WeCanAct Liberty Conference coming up this October 22nd and 23rd at the Salt Palace Convention Center. And one more time, Teena, thank you to you for your time today. Listeners, thank you for your time today. And we'll be back with just a few minutes left in the show today, right after this.
Election fraud, biological weapons poisoning, loss of religious liberty. With everything going on in the country, isn't it about time somebody did something? It's time for We the People to act. Join other true conservatives and world-renowned speakers at the We Can Act Liberty Conference in Salt Lake City, sponsored by Lime Justice. Join General Flynn, Katie Hopkins, Senator Borelli, and more at the We Can Act Liberty Conference on October 22nd and 3rd at the Salt Palace. Get your tickets at WeCanAct.net or text WeCan to 53445. This message paid for by Lime Justice.
Hey, it's Al Lewis. We all know buttons make our lives easier. But if you have sleep apnea and can't use CPAP, did you know there's a button that can help you go from this to this? It's called Inspire. It's a small device that works inside your body with just the click of a remote. That's right, a button. If you struggle with CPAP, great sleep awaits at InspireSleep.com. Inspire. Sleep apnea innovation. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you. And review important safety information at InspireSleep.com.
Adams Wealth Advisors is the gold winner for financial planning in the Best of Northern Utah competition. Thank you for your vote. Putting clients first under any circumstance will bring peace of mind when working with Adams Wealth Advisors.
This is Craig Adams. At Adams Wealth Advisors, we are here to help you receive peace of mind whether you've done a lot of planning or a little planning. Count on our team at Adams Wealth Advisors for honesty, professionalism, and integrity.
Visit AdamsWealthAdvisors.com or call 752-1702 to schedule a time with an advisor today. Please see AdamsWealthAdvisors.com for more information on these recent awards.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Tuesday on This Morning, America's First News. The latest as Democrats downsize their social spending package. Also, are we still chasing herd immunity? Hear what the Delta variant has done to that strategy and what experts say is the most likely path to managing COVID in the future. Plus, how teaching has changed thanks to pandemic technology. And what if you could see what your coworkers earn? Tuesday on This Morning, America's First News. From 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news and talk.
Thanks again to our listeners for the time today. Man, just a packed show. Thanks again to Teena, our last guest there, for taking the time. Poor Teena and I. This was planned for last week. She forgot, then we'd schedule it for another day, and then I had to cancel. And then, yeah, it took us almost a week to get that interview to happen. Thanks for taking the time and sharing your perspective. The conference link, if you're interested, is on our Facebook page. Thanks to Joe Dougherty. Still excited about this. Amanda Dilworth, Western Edge Photography, the Rodeo Photographer of Utah. I didn't even know there was such a thing, and it's not an official title, but I heard through the grapevine, that's how I caught this story, that had become her title. She's from Burley, Idaho, and she has photographed almost every event that has a rodeo bent to it in Utah and the Intermountain region over the last year. And you've never seen rodeos this way. I've linked to some of her photography on the Facebook page if you'd like to see it. And again, you can get there again after being down for a few hours today. Whew. A lot going on.
And apparently, yeah, because Facebook owns Instagram, and apparently they own WhatsApp. Is that right?
Yep.
So
And a bunch of
all
other
three
stuff, too. Yep. Everything was kind of crunched today.
Everything I've seen online says it does not appear to be sabotage. It appears to be equipment failure, I guess, because not everybody was affected.
No, it was definitely the Intermountain region and then weirdly parts of Europe, I guess, but most of them were asleep. But yeah, equipment failure and then why it took so long to get them back, I don't know. A good reminder again how central these things have become to our lives, though. It always forces me to kind of take a step back and think maybe I'll spend some time away from the social media just for a bit. All right, we'll be talking about this again tomorrow. Some research being done at Utah State University along these same lines. Our candidate forum will give you a preview of that tomorrow, what some of the questions might be Wednesday night, and all of that on tomorrow's show. Stay tuned. Dave Ramsey is